Hello everyone, I am Phoenix Tremayne, and this is my review of Married to Medicine. I just watched it, and I'm ready to give you the spoilers, but, well, on soaps we give spoilers. Married to Medicine is more of a review. So first, if you haven't done so, please take a minute to subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate every subscriber, every comment, every like. I really appreciate everybody helping me build this channel up. And I'm going to give you my interpretation of this week's Married to Medicine. But once again, I feel like this episode was more filler than anything else. The opening is back. I was excited to see that. I love the opening. And I love that Mariah's in the opening again. I couldn't figure out in the next scene if Allura could rap or if she just didn't want to be on camera. Like, I really do think that her mother's a little bit of a momager, and she's really trying to show that her kid is talented, and she's putting Allura out there whether she likes it or not. Eugene and Toya talked about their men's, that he's having the men's cookout. He's including Greg, and Toya wasn't sure if they should remain friends with Greg if him and Quad divorces or they're not on good terms. And Eugene reminded her that, Greg's never done anything to him. They're friends. And if he's having a cookout, he's welcome. And I can see Eugene's point, because sometimes when people break up, relationships can get messy. People take sides. But for the women, it gets really, really personal. But for the men, if the guy hasn't really done anything to them, they don't need to cut their friendship off. So I see his point, and I'm glad that she respected his point of view. Mariah takes her daughter to see Simone for her first appointment. And I was happy to see that her daughter had a lot of the right answers, and she's almost too good to be true because there's no perfect teenage kid out there. But for the cameras, she definitely, I was glad to see a good kid, and she just seems like a good, normal, well-adjusted kid. And that was nice to see. Jackie and Quad met. And, I was like, Quad's going to cry in 3, 2, ding, ding, ding. So Quad made her obligatory guest appearance. I feel like it's in her contract. She signed a contract. She's got to show up. And so she shows up for one scene per episode. Last episode she was in a little bit more. But, Quad has really been being on the show only as much as she really has to be on the show. Heavenly's acting like she doesn't know. Oh, I put this note. Some of you may have noticed, I noticed last year when they showed the boy in college, and Heavenly's son is gay. My gaydar is not broke. I know some of y'all say, when it comes to like Simone and Jackie and all that I'm like way off base. But when the kid looked at his mother like, no, I don't have a girlfriend. I know that look. Like, look, you know what time it is. But, we have a don't ask, don't tell policy in our household. So, yeah, he's got all the signs, all the vibes, all of the behavior. I noticed it, when they sent him to college or whatever. I noticed little things, and I can still see little things in his behavior, and there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I'm not gonna say anything about Simone this episode. Well, I'm gonna say about her on the show, but I'm not gonna say anything about the gay stuff. But yeah, the son definitely is sending the gaydar way off, and I'd be curious to see if people in the comment section felt the same way. Then the fellas finally meet, and the great thing about the guys is it's not a dramatic shouting match. It was very low-key drama, and it was interesting how all of the guys were like, Greg, if you really want this marriage, fight for it, go for it. Eugene was like, look, even when my parents were fighting too much, I was like, just divorce. So Eugene is a guy who I believe really truly believes in marriage and commitment and monogamy from what, we've seen in his confessionals and from what he's done on the show, the looks he gives anytime anyone's cheated. But I felt like Eugene probably should have kept that to himself. You know, um, maybe a little bit of Toya's messiness, kind of like, roll down to him. But yeah, I think that's one of them things where you kind of sit back and you may notice like your friend probably should break up from this relationship, but sometimes you got to bring them to that conclusion themselves. You don't just say it, and you just kind of like get them to come to that conclusion. It's a way you do it. Um, uh, yeah, let me see. Greg said the quad doesn't think they're compatible. Well, we knew that in season one. So this, I think the Sister Circle has given Quad the boost, and Married to Medicine has given the Quad the boost to finally leave Greg. I know that it ain't even the infidelity or anything. If Quad didn't have Married to Medicine, she didn't have Sister Circle, you know, she wouldn't be going nowhere. She'd be working things out like Jackie or whatever. But I think Quad is ready to move on. She was probably ready to move on way back when. But, every season, we just see that Quad does not want to be in this marriage. Eugene sees it. They watch the show just like we watch the show. He knows she's not interested in Greg. She's called this man gay. She's called this man out for all sorts of different things. And Quad, you know, I think they should divorce. But like I said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Um, 2 million. Now, I kind of feel like Contessa on this little bit of a subject when it comes to Toya and Eugene's finances. That then they're now getting a $2 million house from scratch, and it's still going back and forth with the budget. I understand that they had to not get a place in Atlanta in order to be able to fit their budget with the type of house they want. Um, and if you can do it, more power to you. It's best to have a house from the ground up because everything's new. You ain't got to worry about your ceiling for a while. Pipes. I own my own home, and my house was built in 1920. So people come in, they go, "Oh wow, look at this, look at that," and I'm like, because there was some antique things that were a part of the house, and I'm like, no, no, is my house is almost 100 years old, so yeah, things go wrong at the drop of a hat. Knock on wood, nothing goes wrong anytime soon. I got contractors in my house. I just spent $173 on lumber just for my deck. But anyway, that's me. We're back to Married to Medicine. So I'm just saying it can be costly, but they talked about saving, but they also talking about a $2 million house. I don't know if they're renting again. Yeah, they got to be renting again. But, I just hope that they budget it in a way that they can afford the house that they're getting this time, and not find themselves in financial straits again. Um, now, uh, Simone and Cecil finally. Oh, I put a note here that says Simone and Cecil are finally doing well. I was actually very, very happy to see Simone and Cecil and their son. They felt like a family. They had smiles on their faces, and a big difference between Eugene and Gregory and Quad and Cecil and Simone. Cecil and Simone have kids. They've been together for 20 years, I think, 20, 22 years, something like that. And, they have history. They're just hitting a rough patch and getting over it. Quad and Eugene is night and day. They're on two different paths. She's on the fast track trying to, make it an entertainment business. He's doing his thing. He wants a family. He wants his wife. He wants kids. He wants tradition. She wants, to be a star. And that don't mix very well. So I can understand how Eugene sort of like can kind of look at those two pictures and go, okay, just let Quad be Quad, let her go. If she comes back to you, then you knew it was meant to be. And whereas on the other hand, everybody was like trying to save Simone and Cecil because, they've been together for so long, they have so much together. And we also got people in the blogs have talked about Kid Force and how it failed and how they were like looking it up and trying to see what's going on. This episode, it's kind of weird seeing him in the Kids Force shirt. As he was saying, one, he was laid off from his job, and two, Kids Force went under because the company that was trying to do it, they went under. So he lost his money. They lost that $20,000 that he took from him and Simone's budget. And sometimes in the business, you invest money. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. If it was $1 million idea, Simone would be smiling, but it just crashed and burned. But it doesn't look like it's affected their marriage at this moment. She looks a little stressed. She does want him to get a job, but she looks content right now. They're in a good space, so fingers crossed. Um, Now, Contessa, let's talk about Contessa for a minute, because Contessa ended the show, and she also had her moment with her husband. She does not have cancer. Cancer runs in her family, and so she's just determined to get the double mastectomy in advance, just in case she might ever get cancer. And as the doctor said, it doesn't mean you won't get cancer. It just means that your risks are reduced, but you're pretty much fine, and you're using your fear is pushing you to do something that you really don't need to do. And you can tell Scott, he doesn't want. I mean, this is how Kanye West kind of lost his mother, just doing something sort of cosmetic. I just want to say that things that seem simple in surgery can go crazy. Next thing Contessa's dead. The kids don't have a mother. He's a widower. And, he knows, he's a doctor. He knows anything can happen. She can get an infection. Anything can happen. And, you could tell that he doesn't want her to have the surgery. But for her peace of mind, this is something she's been thinking about for a really long time. And when I say let's talk about Contessa, I've been saying since last season that she doesn't belong on the show, that she's really not entertaining and she doesn't fit with the girls on the show. And it's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. She just doesn't fit. And I have nothing against her and Scott, but this is why I'm going to tell you why she doesn't need to be on next season, because nobody is filming with her. Jackie has had a mastectomy. She has not had one conversation with her on camera to talk about it. Jackie has had cancer. They have not connected. It would just, and she hasn't done anything to Jackie. So why isn't Jackie filming with her? You know what I'm saying? Why isn't Simone having like a counseling? Why don't they have a female powwow session about this? Why didn't that bring the girls closer together? This is what reality TV does. You say, okay, I'm going to have a double mastectomy, and, these are supposed to be my TV friends, and we don't get phone calls, them saying, hey, girl, what's going on? I doubt they even know what her plot line is, because I think that somebody would have called. I think even Toya would have been like, hey, girl, you okay? Just for camera purposes, just for camera time. And so this season, Contessa has spent a lot of time just with her husband and her kids, and she's shown up with the girls at one event, and she tried to connect with Quad, and Quad obviously was looking at her like, who are you? Not that she didn't know she was, but like, this is my time, this is my space. We're not that kind of friends. Nobody is in her corner, and then she gets the call to have that she can have double mastectomy in 24 hours. She does not call any of the girls from Married to Medicine that we know of, and nobody's connected with her. She's about to go into surgery, and we don't see anybody from the Married to Medicine cast holding her hand, being there for her. They could have postponed the Miami trip. I don't know if it happened around this time or at the same time, but yeah, what's the point of Contessa being on the show if she has a major storyline and nobody's a part of that storyline. It's like she's a cast member that's just doing things on her own by herself. Everybody knows that even if, like on Housewives of Atlanta, Nene and Kim couldn't stand each other, but they knew this is for TV, so we had these horrible arguments, then we're friends again. We have these horrible arguments, then we're friends again. It's like a vicious cycle. So, I don't know what's going on, but Contessa, she's not fitting with the show. In Miami, I also have a note here that Heavenly trusts Damon. The commercial may look like she didn't trust him, but I like that Heavenly showed that she trusts Damon, even though Mariah says she has receipts. So that was nice to see that she showed on camera she has trust in her husband. And then in Miami, Simone, Jackie, Heavenly so far have been boring. This trip has just gotten started. Looks like next week's episode will be a lot more emotional. But this comment Jackie made irked me. And if you follow me on social media, I'm an activist. I'm a black activist. I'm always promoting black history and all sorts of things. Follow me on social media, you'll see. Black is beautiful. I promote all of that. But what I don't promote is Jackie saying something like, black mamas, were using the B word and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yes, black mamas have done that, but so have white mamas, so have Latino mamas, so have Asian mamas. This is something that people do. If you have a parent that is dysfunctional, it doesn't matter what race you are, that these things can happen. We know that there are all types of people we've seen that they've degraded their children, they ruin their self-esteem, they ruin them emotionally. Sometimes it's just them constantly harping, when you get a husband, when you're going to have kids, when you're going to do this, when you're going to do that. You're not getting any older, you're going to be an old maid. And I've seen in other reality shows and all kind of stuff, white people acting the fool too. What do you think rednecks do? Okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, to designate that black mamas specifically were calling their daughters bees, and it doesn't have to be in the past. I grew up in the hood. Yeah, I heard it, but like I said, I didn't hear it from one race. People, if you have friends of different nationalities, different races, different religions, they all have horror stories about how their childhoods were messed up and how some of them had dysfunctional parents and all. Come on now. So if she says some mamas use the B word that really hurt their children because of their background and they didn't really may have been dysfunctional or something like that, I was cool. But to designate that black mamas, and because we as black people, we don't control our image, we don't control what people say or do about us, we don't control the media, so we can't control our image. So when we put little things out there, black people aren't the only one watching Married to Medicine. Okay, so white people, Asian people, Latino people, people of all nationality, races, and religions are watching the show, and they can take that one blanket statement and apply to our entire community because Jackie, a very well-respected person, just threw out that blanket negative comment, and it's just too distinctive to say it's really us. It's everybody. So that's my rant. Take it. You can talk in the comments about it. Tell me I'm right. Tell me I'm wrong. Whatever. But I really wasn't feeling what Jackie said at the end of the episode. The next comment is about Contessa because she ended the show. But that's it. That's my take on Married to Medicine this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you discussed this in the comment section. And I hope you've subscribed. And if you have subscribed, I really appreciate it. Thanks for helping a brother out. And I will catch you in the next video.